Have you ever stopped to think that choosing to become a sovereign man means seeing things that you can't unsee, such as your true potential? And once you're shown that with a little bit of work, you can be, do, and have anything that you want in your life. You will never be able to see the world through the old lens again. And therein lies your first big problem. You're now, for once in your life, not just aware of what you don't want, you are also aware of what you do want and who you need to become. And being fully aware of that gap between who you are right now and the sovereign man who you know you could be will torture you to death if you don't make it to the top. So what I'm going to do today is show you in practice the path that you have to walk through to achieve sovereignty, or as we describe it, become a sovereign man. Now, this pyramid represents the hierarchical structure of society. The vast majority of people will inevitably be stuck at the bottom for their entire existence. And as sad as that might sound, it's the honest reality. They are the ones who will always be stuck in the old world as lifelong subordinates. Now, in very contrast to that, at the top of the pyramid, we have the sovereign men, the men who took the leap of faith into the new world of digital sovereignty, that achieved financial sovereignty, geographical sovereignty, and sovereignty of time, and now get to play by their own rules. Now, on the last episode of Digital Sovereignty, I showed you the 4 sovereignty codes to become a sovereign man. And today, I'm going to show you how to put those codes into practice to work your way to the top of this pyramid, even if you are starting from the very bottom. Now, there are 3 stages you need to go through in order to get there. And I'm going to reveal each stage sequentially. And for each stage, I will show you what's your objective in it, what life looks like, and most importantly, what you have to do to progress to the next stage. So if you ever wanted to see what the journey of going from nothing to having it all looks like, today you're going to see it firsthand. Now we start at our first stage, which I like to call rock bottom. Now the good news is that since you're already at the bottom, there is only one way to go from here, and that is up. Now the bad news is the longer you stay at the stage, the harder it is to leave it. And this is due to a sneaky phenomenon I call the skills gap acceleration. And here's what I mean. I was talking to a friend of mine a few weeks ago, a very successful designer who a lot of well-known designers actually go to get their advice from. And he's one of those guys that's always on top of all of the new tech and innovations. And he has been obsessed with AI lately. His thing is creating insane quality photorealistic AI shoots for big brands who used to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single shoot. And he can now do that on his own at a fraction of the cost, and with shoots that were previously impossible to execute in real life or even through image manipulation in Photoshop. Now, at the same time, he is a very down-to-earth type of guy with very conservative takes. So I decided to ask his opinion on the long-term effects that AI will have on the job market. And his answer was fascinating. This is what he said to me. He goes, Iman, I can only speak on my market, which is graphic design, obviously. And I do see a lot of people out there claiming that AI is going to replace everyone and AI is going to take all the jobs. Now, do I believe that that's actually going to happen? That entire professions like designers are going to get replaced by a tool? And to be honest, I was expecting him to say, no, that's not going to happen. That's a bit of a utopian view. Or something along those lines. But here's where he took me by surprise. He goes, will the designers get replaced? Absolutely they will, but not in the way that most people are thinking. No designer is going to get replaced by AI. Trust me when I say this. The designer will be replaced not by AI, but by a designer who uses AI. And he went on to say the real problem is that this technology is developing so fast, faster than most people can keep up with. And the designers who are embracing it are creating projects that 6 months ago were never thought possible. And their skill to use this technology to create cutting edge work is developing at such a speed that the ones who wait just a little bit too long to start learning this are the ones who are going to get replaced. Because by the time they realize they need to learn this, it will already be too late. The technology will have evolved so much by then that they will never be able to catch up on this. While the ones who adopted it from early on will be better than ever because their skill to use AI on their job will grow exponentially, just like the technology itself. And this is what the skill acceleration gap is. This new world of digital sovereignty that's being created right in front of our eyes is evolving fast. Levels of magnitude faster than the old world that we're used to. And as a result, the skill gap between you and the opportunities in the real world grows wider every day. It's like trying to jump onto a train that's not only moving, but accelerating. And it's not only in the design world, it is everywhere. The problem is when you are stuck in a traditional job in the old world, you're too busy meeting daily demands to learn these new skills. And your company might not provide training in cutting edge technologies. And also, you're often too mentally drained after work to pursue self-learning. Meanwhile, those in the new world are constantly exposed to these emerging technologies and have the time and mental space to adapt and learn. I mean, really think about it. How many new software platforms has your company adopted in the last year? How many emerging technologies in your field do you feel confident using? When was the last time you significantly upgraded your digital skills? If these questions make you uncomfortable, you are experiencing the skill gap acceleration. The harsh reality is, every day you spend in the old world not actively bridging this gap, you're not just standing still, you are falling behind at an increasing rate. And this is why it is crucial to make the leap to digital sovereignty as soon as possible. You see, the longer you wait, the more challenging and potentially overwhelming that the transition becomes. So, what should you do? How do you get out? Well, ideally, you should have started to think about that 2 to 3 years ago when you started to notice more and more people taking the leap into this new world. Because one thing is true with every single revolution, the ones who get there first get to drink clean water and enjoy the spoils. Now, if you didn't do that, it's probably also not your fault because you did have other things in your way. Listen, we both know you're busy. Maybe that's work. Maybe that's college. The harsh reality is that those activities do take the entire day, and it's hard to find enough time outside of it to work on starting a business. And I'm sure that you are trying your best. And that's why I like to talk about unconditional success. What would you prefer? Conditional success or unconditional success? Well, if you have to wait for the perfect conditions to get started, where you don't have other tasks from work, where you're not in school, where the market is in your favor, and all of the stars need to align in order for you to be successful, well, then you don't have unconditional success because your success was dependent on all those conditions, which means that if something goes wrong or the market conditions change, your success is gone. What you have built could be taken away from you at any moment. So just know that if you haven't yet started your business because the timing wasn't ideal from a work or a college perspective, that's actually the best time to do it. Because if you succeed under those conditions, you will have unconditional success. So just get started. And the very first thing you need to do is start making your own money. This is the objective of this first phase. Make your own money. And when I say your own money, I don't mean being a subordinate to someone else. No, you need to make money by yourself. And in episode 2, I already covered in detail the best way to do that, which is starting a very simple service-based digital business. That's basically a fancy word for saying selling a simple service to businesses for a profit. And that is by far the easiest and fastest way to start making $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month without having to slave yourself away working for someone else. Now, how do you do that? Well, it's super simple. First, you need to select the service that you want to deliver. Now, remember what I taught you in episode 2? It is all about leverage. The secret here is being very strategic with the things that you can leverage. And as a beginner, there's 2 things you can leverage: time and expertise. Now, remember, the best way to do that is by leveraging other people's time and expertise. So that way you don't have to spend your time developing the expertise before you start making money. Now, I always recommend you develop the expertise along the way, but at first, make sure that that doesn't get in the way of you making money. When I first started selling paid traffic services, I had never created a single ad campaign in my life. And as I said, in the space of 9 months, I went from having zero knowledge about paid traffic, funnels, any sort of webinar, anything to do with the back-end emails, anything to do with retargeting ads. 9 months later, I'm getting paid double what someone gets paid in a month for a day's work, and I'm coming in for multiple days. And on top of that, my agency gets a retainer from them. So how did I deliver it? I leveraged other people's expertise. Simple. Now, I'm going to tell you how to leverage other people's time and expertise in stage 3, but for now, what I need you to understand is this. You just have to select a service that businesses are willing to pay top dollar for. My personal recommendations are paid traffic. It's the one that I delivered, and to this day, it's still one of the most profitable and in-demand services to offer as an agency. You have copywriting, that is writing video scripts, ads, website pages, sales videos, and so on. And again, today there's a way to deliver this service even if you suck at writing. And I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Then you have email marketing, which is taking care of businesses' email efforts. Now, a lot of businesses make tons of money with repeat sales, and most of those sales come from emails. And this is why they're willing to pay top dollar for the agencies offering this service. Even if you want to learn how to deliver those services yourself at first, by leveraging your own time, inside of Agency Accelerator, you will have 3 full-blown service delivery programs on each one of those. How to create paid traffic campaigns, how to write copy that sells even if you suck at writing, and how to run an email marketing agency. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks to go through each one of these programs if you invest around 1 to 2 hours a day into it. And to this day, I've yet to meet someone who watched one of these programs and wasn't able to learn how to create ad campaigns or write copy that sells. So all you have to do is choose one of these skills and start offering it to businesses. It's that simple. Now, how do you offer that? Well, this is actually very simple as well. You can contact these businesses through email, Insta DMs, you can call them, you can send them a video, whatever works best for you. And this is exactly what our student Arian did, for example. He was in the agency space for 3 years without much success. And after joining Agency Accelerator, he collected $11,000 in payouts in just 4 days. And that is a new sovereign man in the making. Julio also called his first client a couple weeks ago after joining the program. It was a small one, but that's already enough to get you to the next stage. We also have Sung, who signed his first client at $700 a month, his second at $3,300 a month, and is already looking at scaling his agency even further. Sung is another one of our new sovereign men working his way to the top of the pyramid. Now, after signing your first client, you'll start making your own money, which means that you move to the next stage of the pyramid. I call this stage the purgatory, and that's because here's where 90% of people get stuck indefinitely. Here, you're already making money. It could be a little, it could be a lot. And if you have a job, you're most likely in this stage. And if that is the case for you, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you're selling your soul to pay the bills? I mean, listen, let's be real here. The majority of time, you don't even enjoy what you're doing, but it pays the bills. And it feels like the only option that you have. And for some people, they start it as a temporary gig, but temporary turns into months, which ends up turning into years. And they still believe their own lie that next month I'll quit and I'll find something better to do. But next month never comes. All while you're trading your most valuable asset, which is time. Why do you need that to rest after slaving away as a subordinate the whole day? So that way you can slave away some more, or maybe you have your car payment to make. So that way you have a car to drive to and from your job in order to slave away for someone else. It's madness. And the worst part is majority of people have no money left over after paying the bills for their house and their car, which means that at the end of the month, they haven't built anything. They are in the exact same position they were in at the beginning of the month. So you're essentially working for free. And this is literally what it's like to be stuck in the old world as a subordinate, but you keep working this very same job because you have this false illusion of choice. You think you're free because you have your own money, even though at the end of the month, all of it is gone and nothing has changed in your life whatsoever. It does not get more miserable than that. Now, you might have even realized that already and you want to break free, but all the paths that you see in front of you lead to the same destination, which is subordination. Well, my friend, there's only one way out. Make enough money outside of your job so that way you can quit it. And that is the objective at this stage. So how do you do that? You do it in the very same way as the previous stage, by starting your own service-based online business. The difference is one client will probably not be enough for you to quit your job. So what you have to do is, after choosing your service at the previous stage, you have to perfect your way of reaching out to potential clients here. This way, you will be able to close clients consistently, meaning you would have developed the ability of getting paid consistently whenever you need more cash. And in order to do that, I recommend you focus on one outreach method until you perfect it. It could be email, it could be Instagram DMs, it could be Facebook messages, it could be calls, whatever it is. Where most people get it wrong is that they try to go straight for the kill. They message people trying to sell them right away. And this is a massive turnoff for clients because it shows that you are desperate and you don't really care about them or their business. And instead, you're just trying to make a quick buck. Plus, selling through email or DMs is highly ineffective at this price point. What you have to do instead is use it to start a conversation and then offer them help. You can offer to help them by creating an action plan for implementing email marketing in their business or whatever your service is, as an example. Something that would bring them value so that way they can see that you are actually looking to help. Then, in order to create such action plan, you just need to invite them to a Zoom meeting. Now, you can prepare the whole action plan beforehand by taking a look at what they're doing and seeing where they can improve. Again, don't overcomplicate things here. If you're offering email marketing, just look at what they are currently doing for it. Are they sending emails already? If so, how often? Do they have a way to get new people onto their email list? And based on that, you create the plan. And then at the end of the meeting, you just ask if they would like your help to execute the plan that you just created. If they say yes, congratulations, you just got a new client. And the key in this whole process is just getting good at sending the messages in the first place. If you perfect your outreach, you would have acquired the ability to make money on demand. And when you have that, you will never have to worry about money ever again. And this is exactly what Christian did. In his own words, here's what prospecting done right can do. It is all about the perceived value. All you need to do is show them how much value you can provide for X amount, and they will be happy to invest even more in what you offer. They just got a client to pay $23,000 monthly. Exactly as he said, there's no reason you won't succeed as long as you do your outreach right. Outreach is 80% of the success here. The point here is one deal like that and you can quit your job. And this is the same story for Nicholas, who after some weeks of outreach made a presentation for a client and signed him at $4,884 a month. And by the way, that's already enough for you to quit your job. This is the whole objective of this stage, because once you quit your job, then your life truly starts to change. And for the very first time, you will not be at the mercy of others' wills anymore. No more asking for permission. No more donating your time to someone else. No more being a subordinate. And you should be very proud of that, by the way. And again, the real beauty of this business model is that you don't have to drop everything in order to get started with it. You can do it on the side until you're making enough money to justify quitting. Listen, you don't have to burn any bridges or run any unnecessary risks here. And once you do get to the point where you're making enough money through your agency, then you can quit and progress to the next stage. So I call our next stage the money trap. And here's where you get to a territory where most people are starting to make FU money. They are getting closer to their financial sovereignty. And for some, they've already gotten there. Now, the objective of this phase is for you to achieve your own financial sovereignty. But not only that, here you need to achieve financial sovereignty while also achieving time freedom. And this is a very important nuance that most people overlook. Remember, sovereign men enjoy the perks of financial, geographical, and time sovereignty. Only one of them is not enough. Now, we have geographical freedom from the get-go by the nature of our work, but it is very easy to get caught up in the weeds and turn your business into a self-employed job where you're once again trading your time for money and being a subordinate to your own business. The majority of the high prestige careers such as bankers, judges, lawyers, doctors, they get caught in this trap. And you would think that they would be at the top of the pyramid because they are considered to be highly successful by normal standards. However, we don't adopt normal standards. We are sovereign men and we make our own rules. Now, the stages of our pyramids are not defined by how much money you make as much as people would think, but rather how much freedom you have, which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. Money, in fact, plays a very small role in this. More important than money itself is how you make such money. The way that you make your money is what really dictates how much freedom you truly have. What's the point of making millions if you cannot enjoy the freedom that such money can provide you? What you need to understand is that income is relative. The judge and the banker might make $100,000 a month, but they also have to work 10 hours a day of a highly stressful and brain-dead job that deep down inside they hate. Just ask any retired banker if they enjoy their job and you'll see. But not only that, they can only enjoy two-week vacations a year, whereas you, as an agency owner, can make $10,000 a month while working 4 hours a week on your agency if you really want to from anywhere in the world. So who is actually richer at the end of the day? And by the way, in the past, I've hit $100,000 months in my own agency, and I did that while having a CMO in place, and I still only worked 4 hours a week. The difference between us and them is they have a job. We have a business. They have duties. We have options, and we can take advantage of the eighth wonder of the world, which is outsourcing. While the bankers, the judges, the actors, the pro athletes have to do everything themselves and live with work that sometimes they may not enjoy, we can simply hire a contractor to fulfill our services for us while we enjoy the spoils. And that is how you achieve not only financial sovereignty, but also time sovereignty. All you have to do is find someone who's already experienced in delivering the service that you deliver and let them run the show. And then we get to our ninth wonder of the world, which is hiring worldwide. Different than all of the physical businesses out there, we're not limited to a city or a country which we're hiring. We can literally hire people from all around the world. And the real beauty of that is that you can find amazing talent in countries from South America, Asia, Africa, Eastern Europe, all of which that are extremely affordable. For the price that you would hire a marketing graduate with zero experience straight out of a college in the US, you could hire a senior top level contractor with tons of experience under his belt from the places that I've just mentioned. You would have seen Danny and Luis during episode 1 and 2. Danny is from Colombia and was one of my first contractors that I hired, and he ended up becoming the CMO of my agency later on. Same for Luis from Brazil. He was an intern at my agency, ended up becoming a media buyer, and is now the CMO for my e-learning business. So this way you have someone who's extremely experienced in delivering amazing results for your clients, so that way you can focus on the only thing that matters, which is signing even more clients. And by the way, a lot of people get a bit apprehensive when they hear the word hiring. They start stressing out about money and having to pay someone else, thinking, what if I lose a client? Do I have to pay the contractor out of pocket? Am I going to be stuck with them? And it's actually very simple. The way we set up our agreement with our contractors is that they get paid a certain amount per client, and that's always at the end of each month. Whereas we get paid upfront by our clients, and that's the way it works with any kind of agency. So this way, you're never having to pay anything out of pocket. So you literally have zero risk on your end. It's kind of like Uber. If a new driver registers for Uber, they only get paid after the ride, meaning Uber only pays them after they have already gotten paid by the customer, and there's no added risk on their end. And I call this contractor arbitrage. So you don't necessarily need to go through the whole journey of learning how to deliver a service yourself to then get to the stage of outsourcing it. You can hack your way to the top by outsourcing it from the get-go and never having to worry about service delivery in the first place. And that's what I personally did when I rebuilt my agency. And this is how you get to 4-hour work weeks with your agency. And this is exactly what Jamie also did. He profited $5,755 with a single project by selling it for $6,995 and outsourcing it for $1,240. And after that project is done, he will then upsell his monthly retainer. And he is now living on a freaking island with his wife and going back to the US for a road trip right after. Gentlemen, that is a sovereign man right in front of you. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, there's a new way to leverage someone else's expertise without actually having to hire anyone. Today, you can leverage the world's most powerful brain to do all of the work for you virtually for free. And that is AI. And no, I'm not talking about simply ChatGPT. This AI has been trained by experts, and not just any expert, by the way. Now, I'm personally not that good with AI, but lately, my CMO Luis has been obsessed with it. Just so you understand, this guy is not only a marketing genius, as well as the marketing powerhouse behind many of my companies, but he has been building robots and winning international competitions since he was 14. He's 26 now. So artificial intelligence is not something new to him. And he's been obsessed with one quest this entire year to create an AI agent that can replace himself. He's been experimenting with it alongside our engineering team, and it's been getting to a point where this thing is not only good, but it can actually achieve 80% of the results that a world-class copywriter can generate. With just a small difference, it's 1/100th of the time. So with this, we finally have the best of both worlds, a lean, profit-driven agency where we can outsource 90% of the work, so that way we have financial, geographical, and time sovereignty, while at the same time being able to do so by yourself without even having to hire any contractors if you don't want. Now, of course, hiring them will always accelerate your growth and take more work off of your plate. Now, if you don't want to have to deal with hiring and managing when you're first getting started out, it's possible to do this with AI. And instead of telling you how good it is, I would rather just show you how it generated world-class copy in real time. So real quick, let's jump onto my computer for a second. And this is how I am personally using AI to do the work of multiple employees for me without having to worry about hiring, management, payroll, and all of the other headaches associated with having employees. And all of that so I can have sovereignty of time. Now, imagine having this level of freedom while signing 4 clients in 6 days, like our student William. Every single one of those clients is going to pay him recurringly every single month. Now, let's say your average retainer is $2,500 a month, which is very common amongst our students. Imagine 6 clients for $2,500 a month every 2 to 3 weeks, each one adding on top of the other. Do you see how fast this can scale to 10, 20, 30K and even more? And at this point, you would have achieved the trifecta of freedom, which is financial sovereignty, geographical sovereignty, as well as time sovereignty. Which means that you would have successfully completed this stage and you have now become a sovereign man. A man who doesn't have to play by the rules because he has earned the right to do so. The right to play by his own rules. And you will never have to go to work or an office ever again because you can now work from anywhere that you want. If the government says you can't go to restaurants or to a beach or to a nightclub, you simply travel to another city that allows you to do all of that. If the inflation is skyrocketing, you don't have to worry about your money losing value because you have enough of it to buy assets and actually get even richer as inflation goes up. And more importantly, you'll be able at the exact right situation to enjoy the opportunities of a lifetime that are about to pop up as the shift to digital sovereignty approaches us. But now I need you to wake up because you're not there yet. Whatever stage you're currently in, you need to get to the top ASAP. Because that is the only way to become a sovereign man and enjoy the new world of digital sovereignty. Listen, I'm sure that all of these wins sound like music to your ears, but let's not forget the reality. If you're not sovereign yet, it means that you are still a subordinate. It means that you are still stuck to the old world. And the more that you wait, the harder it gets to break free. And there's not much time left for us to do that. And this is why you have to act now. And I want to help you get there. And this is the big announcement that I mentioned I would be disclosing today. You see, you just watched my journey starting from absolutely zero at 16 to a sovereign man and a multi-millionaire business owner in my 20s. You saw me starting a content creation agency, ripping it apart to start an advertising agency, then starting my e-learning business. And if you've been following my journey, all of my other businesses, whether that be physical product brands like Big Day or my eyewear business, or most importantly, my main software company, Flozy. And now I'm in a different headspace, and you could consider it the fourth stage of my own journey to sovereignty. I am now starting to play a different game. I'm playing the game of equity. At this stage, my objective is not to increase my monthly revenue anymore. I already have enough money invested into assets to fund my entire lifestyle. And as I explained in episode 2, my biggest leverage right now is to actually break even or sometimes even lose a bit in a business on a monthly basis to grow it as quick as possible. And that is what I'm doing with Flozy. The only thing that matters to me is to get as many users as possible inside of it, even if that means breaking even, because that's what creates equity. So here is what I decided to do and how you can benefit from it if you are smart. Do you remember the sovereign structure I disclosed to you in episode 2? That collection of processes for my agency that I've built inside of Flozy? Well, here's what I did. I decided to take those processes and turn them into plug and play systems. What does that mean? It means that I've turned those processes into little fill in the blank templates that you can use in your own business. So for example, I've taken my onboarding process and created an entire template out of it. So that way you can just copy and paste it into your own agency and simply change the branding of it to match your specific agency. You'll even have the exact script word for word on what you need to say in each one of those videos for each step of the onboarding process. So that way you can record your own videos for it if you want to. And that's just one of the process. There's a process for choosing a niche, choosing a service. There's a process for sending outreach messages, for sales scripts, for sales calls, for communicating with clients, and everything in between. There's a process for everything you can imagine. This is literally a plug and play structure. So instead of simply telling you how to create a business, I want to give you the business. This is a done for you business structure. And with this, there's no guessing. I've removed all of the guesswork from the process of starting a business. So this way, you too can have the exact same sovereign business and sovereign structure that I have, which I developed over 6 years of running an agency. But that's not all. Not even close. I also want to give you the sovereign mind and provide you with the sovereign environment. And that you're going to find inside Agency Accelerator. Remember, the way to develop your sovereign mind is by acquiring knowledge, but not just any type of knowledge, empirical knowledge, which you acquire by learning from the ones that have already accomplished what you want to accomplish, reverse engineering their success and what worked for them in practice. And inside Agency Accelerator, you get to learn not only from me, but also from 4 other highly successful agency owners, all of whom have gone through every single stage of the journey to sovereignty, including the 4th one that I'm going through right now. First, you have Matt and Josh, and together they've built 9 agencies in a row to prove that it's not luck, 2 of which are doing more than $200,000 a month. They have closed 500 agency clients in the last 12 months alone. And as Matt says himself, I did all of that as an extreme introvert who hated talking to people. I was deathly afraid of the word sales.
I closed over 500 clients in just the last 12 months alone. And we're currently on the board for one of the largest SMMAs in the entire world. Now, as cool as all of that sounds, and as much as a braggadocious statement as that is, I did all of this as an extreme introvert who absolutely hated talking. I was deathly afraid of the word sales.
So if you too are an introvert who's afraid of the word sales and is asking yourself if this is still achievable to you, well, that's your answer. In fact, every single 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneur who teaches inside of Agency Accelerator is an introvert, myself included. Now we also have Guillaume, who's the owner of Lemlist. This is the tool that every single successful agency out there uses to send their outreach campaigns to get new clients. So just so you understand, in the last 30 days, there was $118 million worth of client deals that were closed through Lemlist. And Guillaume has the inside scoop on all of those deals, so he knows exactly what's working right now. And today, Guillaume's software is worth over $250 million in valuation. And you know how he started that? He was actually running an agency, and he took the profits out of his agency and used that money as leverage to start this software business. And this is how you get to the 4th stage of sovereignty. And it's exactly what I'm in the process of right now. More on that in just a second. And finally, you get to learn from Pierre, who is my business partner and co-founder at Flozy. He gets to see the inside operations of 10,000 plus agencies on a weekly basis. So he also practices what I preach of learning from the success of others. The reality is, if you want to start a business, an agency is the best business to get into as a beginner. If you want to start an agency, you have to learn from the ones who already run a successful agency. And there's no one better to learn from than the guys right here. And that is a fact. The reason I spent so much money, so much time, so much effort to get these people on is because even though I ran an agency from 2016 until 2022, these guys are living and breathing it to this day, whether that be as active agency owners like Matt and Josh or like Pierre and Guillaume. They are actively running the software companies that all of the agency owners use in order to get the results that they've gotten. So through these experts, as well as myself, you're going to learn service delivery. You're going to learn sales. You're going to learn outreach. You're going to learn mindset, and you're going to learn how to set up your agency from scratch, even if you have no previous business experience, as well as everything else you need to take this done for you business structure that you're actually going to get preloaded inside of your Flozy account, and you're going to get that working at full steam without any guesswork. And with this knowledge, we've had kids straight from high school successfully starting their agencies and scaling it to $10,000 a month. We've had people doing it in North America, in Europe, but also in countries like India, Nepal, Algeria, South Africa, and everywhere else that you could imagine. With this knowledge, we've even had countless people who can barely speak English succeeding. Every single success story you've seen during this event has come from an agency accelerator user. Inside of our community, we have had over 1,000 of these success stories, and you're going to get to meet and network with all of the agency owners inside of it. Because when you surround yourself with people working towards the same objective as you, it becomes 10 times easier to succeed. And this will be your sovereign environment. And with all of that at your disposal, do you think you can do the same? Okay, great. With this, you will now have the sovereign mind, the sovereign environment, the sovereign business, as well as the sovereign structure. You have all the sovereignty codes given to you. Now, even with all of that, some people still struggle in one specific task when they're first starting out, and that is hiring a contractor. As you know, outsourcing your work so that your business can run without you is the only way you can truly achieve sovereignty of time. But I also know how intimidating it can be to hire someone when you're first getting started out. So I want you to be able to outsource your work without having to hire someone. Do you remember that AI agent that my team has built? Well, here's what I've done. I have attached the AI agent inside of Agency Accelerator. So that way you can use that AI to get the service delivery done for you without having to hire a contractor. And I've already showed you the type of results they can pump out. And just like that, you're going to have your first employee. Now, just like any other employee, you still need to pay for its work, because every single time the AI executes a task, it charges you a few cents to process that. Just like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not free, and it can get quite expensive depending on how complex your tasks get. And by the way, the tasks that we're executing here are indeed quite complex. So it does add up to a few $100 a month, but you won't have to worry about that because I'm going to pay this employee for your first 3 months. I have personally preloaded $150,000 in credits from my own card for you to use this AI entirely free on me. Now you might be wondering, why would I do all of that? Well, I told you, I'm now playing a different game. I'm playing a game of equity. I'm using money as my leverage, so that way I have absolutely zero interest in selling courses and selling programs, none of that stuff. With this, I'm only interested in growing my software company, the equity value of my software company, and instead giving away the program as a bonus to people to help them along with their journey. And I'm using my money as a leverage. So even if I have to take a loss or be at a break even for every single user that signs up, it still makes sense to me. So all of this money that I've had to invest in these AI credits that the team has built out, for me is worth it when I exit the businesses. Now, most importantly, the main metric in which a software business gets its valuation is churn. And if your churn is high, you're fucked as a software company. So it would be dumb for me to get tens of thousands of people inside just so they stop using the software a month later. That would affect the valuation of my software company. So it only makes sense for me to promote this if I genuinely believe from the bottom of my heart that you have a high likelihood of achieving success with this package. And this is why I'm trying to give you all possible assets I can give you to make sure that you have the highest likelihood of success. Because that's the only way you're going to keep using Flozy for a long time. If your agency fails, you're going to stop using it. And that hurts me as a business owner. So trust me when I say that I want you to succeed as much as you do. Our incentives are aligned here. And I know the most difficult period of a business is when you're first getting started out. And this is why I want to take all of the burden off of you and actually pay for this to be your first employees for the first 3 months for you to run your business all entirely on me, completely for free. Now, normally for a pro Flozy subscription, you pay $1,068 for the year. And then for Agency Accelerator, the full price is $1,995. Now the AI you wouldn't even be able to get because it's internal from my team. And same thing for the collection of proven systems. There's no price for this. Now, with this package that I'm calling the Flozy Sovereignty Package, you're going to get a 12-month subscription to Flozy. And then you're going to get Agency Accelerator for free. You're going to get my done-for-you business structure for you to plug and play, already preloaded inside of your Flozy account for free. You're going to get your first AI employee for free. And if that wasn't enough, I want to increase the stakes here. For the people who are actually committed, I'm going to give you a very special fast action bonus. For the first 500 people who register on Monday, you're going to get a 6-week implementation coaching program with me personally. We call this the 6-week fast track. Now, we've run this program literally thousands of times over the years, and it simply works. It tells you exactly what you need to do, where you need to click, and what tasks you need to complete week by week during 6 weeks. So that way, by the end of the program, you have your agency up and running, ready to start signing high-paying clients. Now, usually we actually have my student success concierge, which is an internal coach, and he would run you through this program. The difference is this time around, I am going to be your coach. You're going to be learning directly from me. You're going to jump on an actual live Zoom call with me where for once a week, for 6 weeks, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to have your own agency up and running and ready to start paying you 6 weeks from now. And if you want to be one of those 500 people who get access to this, it is essential that you sign up to the VIP list. Because I'm going to add everyone from the VIP list to a private group where I'm actually going to send you this offer 10 minutes before I release it to the public. So realistically, if you're not on this list, you're probably not going to be one of the first 500 people. Now, more on how to join the VIP list in a second. Here, I want to talk about how much it's going to cost. Now, the price for this entire package would be well over $10,000, but most of it you wouldn't even be able to purchase. Now, if you just take what you can actually buy right now online, which is Flozy and Agency Accelerator, that would cost you $3,063. And that's taking the full price of Agency Accelerator as well as a 1-year subscription to Flozy. But today, you're not going to pay $3,063. You're not even going to pay half of that. Today, you're going to have access to all of that for less than the price of one Flozy subscription, $995. Everything else is completely free. So here's how this is going to work. You cannot buy this offer right now. It's not open. If you try to go to the Flozy website right now and buy the yearly pro plan, as I said, it's over $1,000 for a 12-month subscription, but you're not going to get anything else I mentioned here today. This offer is going to open on Monday during the premiere of episode 4 of Digital Sovereignty at 12 p.m. EST. It's going to work on a first come, first served basis. So you definitely want to watch that live to be one of the first 500 people. And I don't know for how long I'm going to keep this entire offer open. Maybe I just keep it open on Monday, or maybe I keep it open for a few more days after that. But when you join the VIP list today, you are going to guarantee your access to this offer and everything that comes with it at the discounted price of $995 for the entire day of Monday. If your name is on that list, as long as you register on Monday, you will have guaranteed access to the entire package at the price that we have discussed here today. And you can save your spot by joining the VIP list today. All you have to do to join the VIP list is click the link in the description of this video or in the pinned chat on the live chat if you're watching this as a live premiere. And from there, register to the VIP list. It costs $1 to show that you are actually committed to this, committed to becoming a sovereign man. So even if you're not sure yet, you can still decide during the weekend. In a worst case scenario, you spend $1. What matters is that your spot will be guaranteed for Monday. And that way you'll have the chance to be one of the 500 people. So all you have to do now is click the link and claim your spot to what's yours, to the 4 sovereignty codes that will turn you into a sovereign man, a man who gets to enjoy the spoils of the new world of digital sovereignty, which is financial sovereignty, geographical sovereignty, and sovereignty of time. So if you want to stop being a subordinate and finally start living a sovereign life, now is the time to take action. So check the live chat or the description of this video, join the VIP list for $1 and guarantee your spot to everything I just mentioned. And with that, I will see you Monday at 12 p.m. EST during the premiere of episode 4. And as always, I'm watching from afar and I'm rooting for you.